like you said, not double pay. But
Yeah.
what does that mean for guest workloads? What does this mean for the licensing on AKS? Still have to register the clusters now? And like pool or combine the licensing? Like how does that work? How do we actually go about taking our SA benefits? Hi everyone, my name is Ellen Kirby and I'm with our CPE team, which stands for Customer and Partner Engineering here in the Azure Hybrid product team. And I'm joined today with a friend of mine, Jennifer Lee, who has been leading up a lot of the workstream effort around these new licensing changes that we're making with Azure Stack HCI. Hi Jennifer, thanks for joining me today.
Great to be here. Thanks, Ellen.
So you guys dropped a lot of content last week around all the licensing changes that we're making, and I thought it would be really interesting to just have a quick conversation about what kind of led to this and what we're doing with these options for our customers.
We just announced Azure Hybrid Benefit for Azure Stack HCI. We've always heard that customers had a difficulty migrating or modernizing the data center onto the cloud, because one problem they've been facing is having to pay double for the cost of licensing to maintain their on-premise license as well as the cloud. So Azure a while back released this immensely successful and popular benefit called Azure Hybrid Benefit, which allows you to concurrently change your on-prem licenses to use it on the cloud. And since we've heard the same feedback on Azure Stack HCI, we just thought it was such a great idea to be also able to bring that benefit for HCI customers as well.
That's awesome. So question about that. I know our up to now existing licensing model has primarily required you to register your cluster in Azure to take advantage of all the hybrid benefits. Is that still going to be the case? Do you still have to register the clusters now?
Yes, that is still a prerequisite before you can take advantage of this benefit.
Got it. And I'm hoping that that actually helps us kind of complete this Azure Arc story where our customers are taking a lot of advantage of all the tooling of Azure Arc by that native integration that we're bringing with Azure Stack HCI. So this licensing benefit doesn't take away from that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think we want to bring you the best of Azure, and therefore that's really the big differentiator with Azure Stack HCI.
So next question I have, and this is coming from a background where I've definitely dealt with managing licensing for a company, and I was curious about the data center licensing model. Because of the way we buy our data center licensing, does that mean that you have to assign an individual license to each host, or is that something where you can like pool or combine the licensing? Like how does that work?
The number of core licenses you need to cover your Azure Stack HCI cluster is exactly the same as if you would have a Windows Server cluster itself. So the same minimum core license requirements would still apply. The only difference is that when you want to take advantage of this benefit for HCI, you need to make sure that your entire cluster and all servers in that cluster are all covered under your core licensing.
Right, that makes sense, and I think that really kind of helps our administrators that are kind of dealing with how they manage their licensing take advantage of their existing investments, and like you said, not double pay. But what does that mean for guest workloads? Like specifically, does the data center licensing still cover that unlimited guest workloads in the Windows platforms?
Yeah, definitely. It still covers unlimited virtualization. And in fact, we've made it even better because now the way to take advantage of that, rather than using like key-based licensing like aka.ms or AVMA, we've now allowed you to be able to take advantage of turning on Windows Server subscription at no additional cost if you have Azure Hybrid Benefit. So basically what it is the ability to turn on guest virtualization through Azure itself. So it's really like a nice consistent story with the underlying HCI host.
That's awesome. I think that's going to be really beneficial to customers. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, as the workloads are maturing and as we're modernizing, we're starting to really get a lot of traction around the Kubernetes platform, and specifically our AKS resourcing that we can actually deploy on top of Azure Stack HCI has been really, really popular. What does this mean for the licensing on AKS?
Yes, I think the same time we announced this benefit for HCI, we also announced benefits for AKS itself. and on Azure Stack HCI. So when you combine these two benefits together, it really allows you to maximize the benefits you can get from Azure Hybrid Benefits. So I definitely encourage everyone to check out the announcement.
So I kind of have one more final question, if you'll bear with me, and that's, could you kind of walk us through a little bit about how a customer would be able to take their SA benefits and register their clusters? I think this would be helpful for them to see kind of a quick demo on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's super easy to do this today on the Azure portal. So let's take a look. When you have a registered cluster on Azure portal, all you have to do is click into the configuration tab. And the first time you come here, you'll see that your benefit has not yet been activated. And all you have to do is click the activate link right below. This pulls out a pane on the right that shows you the target cluster you want to activate Azure Hybrid Benefit on, as well as the number of physical cores and the core licenses you'll need to cover this cluster. Simply click on Activate on the bottom. This will just take a minute to run, and voila! It will now have been activated for your cluster. So from then on, your host service fees would now be waived for this cluster. So once you have Azure Hybrid Benefit turned on, you can now see that your Windows Server subscription add-on can now be activated at no additional cost. So all you have to do is click on Activate Benefit, see that the cost is 0, then click on Activate. Now this has been turned on with Azure Hybrid Benefit.
Jennifer, this was awesome. Thank you again so much, because I think this is just going to be something that's going to be really impactful and useful in our customers and their ability to adopt these great new technologies. So once again, thank you to you and your team for all of the effort to get this completed.
Awesome, thank you. I'm really excited to share this with customers, and definitely share feedback and let us know what you think.
Awesome. And to everyone watching, thank you so much. We definitely want to make sure you check out all of our resources that are listed here, and also share this content with a friend, because we want to make sure our customers that have SA benefits are taking advantage of that with their HCI clusters today.
Thank you.
Thanks.